Delegate Assembly, please come to order, and we'll have our Sheriff's Department lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Please go over the minutes while we're listening to our law enforcement report.
Good morning. My name's Lieutenant Matt Longini with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, North Region. For those of you that don't know me, I'd like to first off wish everybody, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I am happy to report that we have a significant drop in the fraud cases that we've been presenting for the past few months. This last month alone, we only had one. So when we first did our message, we had 6, and that was roughly about 3.5 months ago. I still believe that 1 is too many. You guys work hard for your money, and 1 is just too much. I will tell you this, it's not just happening to you, it's happening to everybody. Yesterday alone, I had 7 calls to my phone of scammers trying to just entice you with Medicaid or Medicare or anything like that. I urge you to not buy into any of the things over the phones. Seek out some type of representation, contact your banks prior to doing anything. The one person that fell victim to this lost out on $1,000. Again, $50 to me, $10 to me is too much. So, but I am happy to report that we have had a significant drop in the fraud. We did have a vehicle burglary that our detectives are currently working on. It seems like the vehicle was just rummaged through, and there was only $30. People will say that it's only $30, but to me it's an invasion of privacy, and I don't think anybody should have to have their property gone through. The biggest thing that we're just asking is make sure that you're securing your valuables, whether it's a vehicle or your bicycles or anything like that. Just make sure that we're securing it, secure your front door so that we don't have that type of incident arise. Other than that, we had 142 calls for service in Century Village this month. 24 of those were reported case numbers. That can be anything from a motor vehicle crash, which we had 2 motor vehicle crashes, the fraud case that I told you. The other 118 calls were proactive calls based on the deputies proactively patrolling the community and the surrounding areas for traffic violations, things like that. So good to report that you were getting a high presence over here in Century Village. And I'm really glad to report that during the holiday season that we're lowering our calls for service, or I should say the necessity for calls. So it's a great thing. And moving forward to the holidays, just urge you to secure your valuables. And moving forward, I hope everybody has a happy and safe holiday season coming up, and I'll see you after the new year.
Thank you. I need a motion to accept the minutes. You have a question for the sheriff?
Sullivan.
I apologize. That's the one thing I missed. Go ahead.
Come up to the mic. Come up so we can hear you. No extra mics today.
Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder why.
At Thanksgiving Day on Clinton Road, around 12:30, 1 o'clock, it was 5 sheriff car and 2 security car, and nobody know what happened.
Where?
Is there anything we could find out what was?
There's times where we're coming there. I don't have anything specific for Thanksgiving Day, but there's times where we're just proactively doing things, but there's also times where we're investigating the case, and it just happens to be that we bring a lot of police officers there.
Okay, maybe next month we'll find out something.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a mic in the back?
I don't see any mics in the back of the.
Any other questions? All right. I'm sorry. As of right now, I don't show anything, and that could be anything from, actually, let me see if I can find a date.
Foster, is
Yeah.
there a mic in the back?
Where?
In the back.
Yeah, there are microphones in the back, I think. I don't see them.
I don't see one.
What I have for that date is basically just a disturbance, and that could be anything from a noise complaint, it could be 2 neighbors not agreeing on something, and that just increases the presence for law enforcement. depending on how cooperative the residents were and how combative the situation may have been. But I can tell you, it doesn't look like there was an arrest or anything made with that. Again, I don't have the information, but the fire department could be there because someone could have sustained an injury. And a lot of times, the sheriff's office, once we get on scene, we'll call the fire department to come there to assess them. It also could be anything from someone having some type of medical issue. If we have an emergency situation where someone's saying they're having a hard time breathing, we're going to send a lot of resources to include the fire department and ourselves there, just so that we have enough resources to address the situation at hand. So having a large amount of presence of law enforcement and fire personnel is not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. And it's basically showing that we have a lot of tools on hand that we can address any type of situation. And thankfully that our sheriff provides us with those resources to where we can send enough deputies and enough fire personnel to those situations.
You had a question in the back?
Yes, Irene Bozan, Somerset K. Could you give some details on there were shots fired outside one of the Berkshire buildings recently?
I don't have any information on any shots fired. Is that
Yeah.
information that you,
Lieutenant, I have some information on that.
okay.
The Berkshire E accidental firearm discharge was exactly that. A grandson of a unit owner had a gun in a van and he accidentally discharged it. Police did respond. The weapon was recovered. The fellow who fired it was Baker acted and brought to a mental health facility. And most importantly, no one got hurt. Did that adequately answer your question, ma'am? Okay. Thank
You have a question?
Yes, hi, Pam Peter Paul, Norwich O. Our buildings overlook Haverhill and Community Drive, and I've noticed once last week, once this week during the day, and last night for several hours, there are tractor trailers parked along the side of the Haverhill, just on the other side of the fence from our building. I'm not sure how to handle it. Do I call security? Is that our property? Do I call the sheriff?
You can call the sheriff, but you can also contact me. I have a direct connection to the road corporal, who will come down and find it. They actually know who the car belongs to and where to find them.
Okay, and it looks like the same truck, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, what's going on is across the street at the Tennis Towers property, there are a number of Airbnb properties. So some of these guys are just going across the street to sleep. So when I see them early in the morning, I call D'Alessio. D'Alessio gets on it like white on rice.
Okay, thank you.
All right? You're welcome.
Any other questions for law enforcement? Yes?
Oh, Lordy. Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Belinda Flores from Stratford H. I got a question regarding an incident that happened this week, or sort of last week, regarding somebody coming in, dropping off a delivery of Walgreens, that's what it said, the bag, off of a unit that was nobody living in there. And they dropped it off, and then somebody else came to retrieve that bag, but they didn't live there. And how they got in, that's a question that I was worried about, how they got in, and they kept on saying that
That's
they're-
not the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to know, I thought so, okay.
You're welcome to come to the UCO and talk to
I
either
sure will.
Daniel, myself, or Donald,
Right.
and we'll try to
Yes.
figure it out for you.
Okay, security did come. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
Okay, motion to accept the minutes? All right. Sandy Levine in a second by Joyce Reese. Okay, are there any corrections to the minutes? Any corrections to the minutes? The minutes will be accepted as presented. Thank you. Okay, I think we're going to start with our property manager's report today, for a change.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I have one announcement for you today. Yesterday, federal court issued a ruling that takes away the federal government's right to enforce the Corporate Transparency Act filing. I thought you might like that news, especially with all the Sturm and Drang that we had about who does it and how. Anyway, nobody else that does it. If you haven't done it, don't do it. And I got this directly from Mark Friedman at the Becker Law Firm. And it is unlikely that it's going to come back given the new administration coming in. So that thing's dead. So don't worry about it anymore. Other than that, not really much to report, but I'm happy to answer questions and take on jobs. Hi, John. How are you? Come up to the mic, John. I can hear you, but... And tell us who you are and where you represent.
Yeah?
John Timmerman, Canterbury F Association President.
Good morning, Mr. Timmerman, and how are you today?
The ones that did file, we getting a refund from the government?
You have to take that up with the government. And I believe the address for that is in Palm Beach on Ocean Drive.
Take it up with the county?
Take it up with Mr. Trump.
All right.
All right.
Any questions for Donald? Yes? Come up to the mic. There's a microphone in the back, Susie, if you want. So you don't have to walk all the way up front. You have your choice.
Joyce Singerman, Oxford 400.
Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning. As far as the fee for the Corporate Transparency Act filing, there is no fee. The only fee is if
The filing fee for your accountant doing it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's between the accountant or Seacrest,
Yes.
whoever charged the fee.
Correct.
But, I mean, the actual filing, there is no cost.
If you did it yourself, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're correct. Hi, Susie. How are you?
Good. Susie Burns, Stratford A. I have a question about a pod that's over by the West Gate. It's been there for weeks. Is there a reason that it's there?
Okay, so what Susie is describing is one of these mobile storage units. It's called POD, P-O-D. There are other ones as well. Our new policy is we don't let those pods in the gates unless they are authorized in advance and in writing by an association. So in that case, that association sent a written authorization form to UCO, and then we let them in. The boards are told that when they authorize this, after 24 hours, they do become county code violations. But as far as UCO is concerned, as long as they've been authorized and they're not parked in a place that blocks sight lines or traffic, it's pretty much on the association at that point. So that's the answer to your specific question. Why was that one let in?
So how long can this thing stay here?
It shouldn't
Forever?
It shouldn't stay there for more than 24 hours, according to the county.
It's been
And
there
if-
for weeks.
It's been there for weeks. And if anybody wants to call in as a complaint to code enforcement, they're welcome to do that. So that's why it's there.
Yes, ma'am.
Donald, I'm not sure. Chris Feldhausen, President, Northampton F Building.
Hello there.
I don't know if this is the proper time to ask, but the water level being so low right now, you can, in our area, you can
Yep.
see that geotubing.
Yeah, Fausto and I were looking at that yesterday when we were driving around. Obviously,
seems-
we haven't had rain in a
Yeah.
long time, and that's really about the most important way that we get new water. God sends it, right? We do get a supply of reclaimed water from Palm Beach County, and I just saw the invoice this morning, and we did receive more than our allotment this month. I will ask for more, but they can run that pump 24/7, and it will not fill the lakes. It's a thimbleful, relatively speaking. So, pray for rain is best I can tell you.
Okay.
All
And
right.
also, I wanted to compliment, I'm sure you're the one who did all that work in the canals, clearing it all out, and it looks really,
Well, I didn't
really
clear it
nice.
myself. I called
know.
I called the band that do that. But
But it looks
yes,
really nice.
yeah, I'm happy to see it as well. I think we all are. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Donald. Our treasurer's report?
Morning. Nice to see everybody here. Thank you all for coming. I just have a couple quick things today. The insurance department, our agent, Phil Massey, will be here Monday in the party room, and I think it's 9 o'clock or 9:30, is it 9 o'clock?
What's that?
The presentation for the option sheets for the insurance, 9 o'clock. Very important. As your treasurer, I highly recommend everyone, please come. We will have he will be giving a presentation, as he usually does, and there will be our disaster recovery person, Esther Santa Maria, will be here, and they will be giving you, all you need to know about hurricanes and after this year, what happened, and the insurance presentation, his normal talk. But the big thing is they're going to have the option sheets available. We will record, if you just can't make it on Monday to the presentation, we will record it, and I will have it posted on TV within a day. Phil and his staff will be also at the party room. This is a little bit of a change from last year. They were at the office last year. But they will be at the party room on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so that you have plenty of time to come and pick up your option sheets so that you can discuss it with your board and then bring those sheets back by the due date, which is later on in December, before the end of the year, so that you're getting the insurance that you want, the deductible selection that you and your board have agreed that, you want to go for the year. So that's the one thing I want to be absolutely sure that everyone knows that that's going on, and that, as many as possible make that presentation, or at very least watch it on TV, because it's very important information. Our insurance is just such a huge topic for all of us, for every association, for UCO, and for us personally. All of our insurances are. So I just highly recommend, pay attention to that, because it's boring, but I mean, we need to know this stuff. So, yes, in the back.
Joanne, Michael Brenner, Sussex E. I've gotten conflicting. Donald, you sent out it was 9:30. Joanne's telling me it's 9 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
I'll double check it right now, Mr. Brennan.
Okay. And will Phil Massey be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or
Yes.
just Monday?
Well, his staff will be here all 3 days.
But he will be here on Monday.
He will be here on Monday, for sure.
Okay.
In the past, I'm not sure that he was here the whole 3 days, but, the people will be there. Christie is the one that,
I've met them all. So
yeah.
it's okay.
So, yeah, we want to be sure that everyone
I'll
gets
show
their
up
questions
before-
answered.
I'll show up before 9 just in case.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is 9:30.
Okay, it is, we just confirmed it. It is 9:30. The presentation will start. Yes, on Monday. We want to make sure, but
Thank you.
get here early, get a good seat.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. According to what was distributed regarding that, it was review and discussion on Tuesday, December 10th, from 12 to 2. As far as
It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Right, the presentation, in other words, he's going to tell you what's what in the,
See, for Monday, it only says distribution of option sheets. The actual presentation, I thought, or discussion would be Tuesday.
No,
Is
it's
that
Monday.
not correct?
It's always been the
It's
first
always-
day.
Yeah, the first
It's
day.
always been the first day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's discussion afterwards for any questions, follow-up, and of course, most importantly, get your sheets and get them so that you get them signed and back by the due date, so.
Will they be there all day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday?
No.
They will be here until what time?
Hi, everyone. I'm reading this out of my own report. On Monday, the team will be at the room from 9:30 to 12 noon. That is when there will be a presentation from Phil Massey and Esther Santa Maria. On Tuesday, the team will be at the clubhouse from 12 noon to 2 p.m. And on Wednesday, again, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Okay?
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. So that being said, the only other thing I wanted to mention is now that season is pretty much here, I would like to ask everyone to participate in sending us whatever you have regarding your club activities and things that are going on in the clubs, and pictures, and I want to post stuff to the, refresh stuff on the TV stations. I'm trying to get as much as input as I can, so we want to try and get something, going that's a little different. So I invite everybody that has any activities that they would like to see on the TV, please, feel free to come in, talk to me, or send them to cbtbadmin at unitedcivic.org. And check out Channel 590 whenever you can. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Joanne. Miss Ruth, Yuko reporter.
You're going to be happy to hear from me today. I have a speech prepared, and I hope you indulge me. Any information you want on the reporter, it's in your packet. There's a site on the internet, I'm sure a lot of you know what it is, Century Village Next Door. I never go on that site, but they email me. I never respond to it. This was the one exception because the newspaper was called anti-Semitic, and that kind of upset me. I wrote, I answered, and I asked the complainant to email me, and I would explain why Hanukkah was not represented on the cover page. I never got a response. I might add that if you look around the associations, my own, we're 25% Jewish, but we have only Christmas decorations, and nobody gets bent out of shape because of it. I previously announced that the only holidays that will be published on the cover page, if any at all, will be Christmas, because it's recognized by everyone, even if they don't celebrate it. It's just a joyous time of year. The others I will put on, when I do, will be New Year's, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and Thanksgiving. Those are the only holidays you'll see if you see holidays. If something comes up in the village that's of import, that will take precedent. I got a complaint back in May. I had put Memorial Day on the cover, and the complainant said that in her country, it's celebrated in July. She's not in her country. She's in the United States, and we celebrate in May. Some time ago, I offered to publish articles about anyone's holiday because we have minorities that celebrate, and that's fine. If they write an article, I publish it. You will see in the December issue out now, you'll see Kwanzaa. In January, I got a very nice article about Hanukkah. And just 2 days ago, I got something on Martin Luther King. That will be in as well. I'm trying to satisfy everybody, but I can't do it on the cover page. It's just too bad that there are those that don't appreciate the paper for its content and the best source of information to the entire village. It's not just the cover page that should be focused on. All I can say is that I'm a staff of one now, especially since COVID. I handle everything by myself to the best of my ability. If you have suggestions, if you want to contact me, I'm always glad to speak to anyone that wants to. Fortunately, the paper is in the black. If you look at your packet, you'll see what it costs to have the paper printed. We have 2 printers, one that lays it out and the other one that runs it off. It comes at a big expense, but we have been able to cover it with ads so far. We will always have a paper regardless. It's in our UCO bylaws. Other than that, I got it on good authority yesterday that the UCO Reporter may be the only paper delivered in the village very shortly. It's not known yet. And in closing, I see that Derek Hankerson is here, and he has sent me a wonderful article on the blue mailboxes that we have in the community. Read it. It's quite a revelation. That's all I have to say. See you next year, January 3rd. Happy
Thank you,
New
Ruthie.
Year.
Thank you, Ruth. David Boaz, you're next. By the way, we do have a quorum. We have 133 delegates signed in. Yeah, you can applaud.
Thank you, delegates, for being here today. Only thing I want to discuss, well, I could discuss a lot of things, but what I will discuss. On the very last page of your packet are the UCO elections, which will be held on March 7th. As you'll see, we have a 2 vice president position, a recording secretary position, and 10 executive board members. If you want to become a candidate, make sure that you get your bio into the UCO Reporter. In this edition of the UCO Reporter, I believe there is an outline of how your bio should be submitted, and that's really the only way that can be done because of the printing issues. So if you need help with that, you can always call Ruth, or you can call me at the office, and we'll try to help you with that. But please, please, please consider running, as these are every position that we have here has some degree of importance. And the way to get things changed, if you think they need to be changed, is to run for office and work within the system. I probably have made more suggestions than a lot of people have, and sometimes my suggestions are taken and sometimes they aren't. Well, that's the way it should be. When the suggestion is made and the majority of the people vote in that direction, then all you have to do is put your shoulder to the wheel and try to help it make work. Sitting on the sidelines and complaining about it all the time doesn't really necessarily help anybody. So I'm asking, I'll even say I'm pleading for people to run for office. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Quick reminder now, again, go on the mic in the back so we can hear you. No.
David, are they still going to take nominations from the floor?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that'll be the month prior to the election if we take nominations from the floor. I think that is how that's done is also explained in the reporter. If not this month, it'll be in next month. Thank you.
Okay. As we're coming into season, more and more people are coming to the UCO office to update their barcodes or they bought a new car. One, you need to be patient. Number two, we require 2 pieces of identification, your Century Village ID and a vehicle registration current for 30 days, okay? And it's got to be in your name, not your grandmother's name, not your wife's name. Now, we have a little issue because some parts of Canada have done away with registrations, and we're dealing with that as best we can. They used to give stamps. They don't give stamps. They used to give a letter. Now they don't give a letter. And Ontario, I've been told, has done away with registrations. Your registration is now valid for life, okay, which I seriously doubt, but that's what we were told. But if you're sitting on the board of your building, notify the people that are coming in, that they're coming back. If they need a new barcode, or an update is no charge. If you have to get a new one, you got a new car, it is $10. please bring cash. We don't have anything larger than $20. And to give you an idea, in the month of November, 2 individuals, Mike Zaslow and Gloria Tart, did almost, between gate passes, barcodes, and updates, almost 600 in 1 month. And November was a short month. And they're dedicated, and remember their pay. They get coffee and cake, okay? To as much as they want, okay? But please notify the people that are coming back. And I know I spoke to someone from the Mesamise. Please notify the Canadians when they come down to be a little bit more polite. There's a few of them that are very, very impolite, okay? And I'm just asking it nicely, okay? Because there's no reason for these 2 individuals to be abused in the lobby. Just totally uncalled for, okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. Patricia, you're next.
Good morning. It's good to see everyone. The usual. I'm continuing to get complaints from outside, people telling me what's wrong, the bus didn't stop. I can't do anything about it. If you don't put it in writing, they will not listen to me verbally. So please, please put everything, whether it's a compliment, a suggestion, a complaint, if you put it in writing, I promise you it goes out right away. Most of the complaints, which are fewer than we had in the past, are answered by someone over at Academy. So I'm happy about that. Anyone who wishes to come to my meeting, it's the first Tuesday of every month. I want to bring up something that's a constant thorn in my side. The excursions have been eliminated. That was voted on by UCO and the committee. We have a lot of clubs in here. The Italian American Culture Club and other clubs run their own excursions and they pay for it. We will not be having any excursions, no matter how many times you ask me, how many times you plead. We're not doing it anymore. I'm sorry if it makes some of you upset. You know how many people I had come to my office in the 3 years I'm doing this? 0. So it amazes me that a lot of people are upset about it when they never even came in and said, hey, I'd like to go here, I'd like to go there. Other than that, I don't really have much to say except have a wonderful, beautiful holiday. Yep. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Holidays to those of you I don't know who are celebrating. God bless you and have a good day.
Thank you, Patricia. Jerry, you're next.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to remind everybody, tomorrow is December the 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day. Just want to thank our veterans for the job that they do for us. Okay, just a couple of items that I'd like to go through. You should all be having your budget meetings now, and all owners should be getting a copy of their budget. It's amazing when people come in and say, I don't know how much our association is spending. I never get a copy of the budget. You must give a copy of your budget to every owner in your building. And with regard to 3- and 4-story buildings, the owners not only have to get a budget, which I understand they're getting shell-shocked now because the increases due to the milestone and reserve study are quite a bit. They have to get a copy of the milestone report, and they have to get a copy of the reserve study in addition to your budget. And that must be handed to all the owners in the building. New owners should be getting copies of condo documents. I got a call from somebody this week who said that I'm closing on my apartment and I have no idea where to get these documents from. Well, it's the association and I think the seller's responsibility to get copies of your documents to the new owners so they know what they're responsible and they're not responsible for in their building. And again, I've also urged that if your documents are dated 1999 or 2000, they should be updated to 2024, 2025. Let's bring it up to where it's reliable and reasonable for this time period. Also, you're going to be having elections coming up shortly at your annual meetings. If you are voted to the board, have 90 days to have a 4-hour mandatory class that you must complete. And that's just a reminder. Donald spoke to you before about the Corporate Transparency Act. There's something, I got the email from Mark Friedman as well. And yes, right now you don't have to do anything. But I just wanted to read to you what Mark included here. It will be necessary to continue the following developments in this case. It is likely that the U.S. Department of Justice will seek a stay of the preliminary injunction, first at the district court, and then, if denied, at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. If such a stay is granted, it could mean that all reporting companies, including us, will once again be required to file this report. So I strongly urge you to keep up with what's going on. If you have an attorney for your building, make sure that attorney keeps you up to date as to whether or not you'll be able to required to do this report. I had an interesting lady come in this week, president of an association. Seems that the past president went out and spent $1,500 to buy a washing machine without asking the board's permission. At the end of the day, the washing machine was a piece of junk and had to be repaired constantly. I urge all of you on the board, and especially make sure that the president of the board has the authority to buy whatever they want to buy. And if it's over a certain amount, then the board has to approve that expenditure. According to the person I spoke to, the past president, she just went out and bought the washing machine without asking anybody. And I believe that if you have an expenditure over $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, you got to go to the board and get board approval. Okay. Rumors. People come in and say, is it true that Breeze Line signed a new contract with us? And the answer is no, it's not true. If you think something is happening, you hear a rumor, come to the office. You can speak to me. I'll verify whether or not something is true or not. But don't listen to rumors all the time, because 99% of the time they're not true. I just want to end up with two things. One is that we're all volunteers in the office. We try our best to help you. Do we know all the answers? No. And I'll tell you personally, if I'm not sure about something, I'll ask a fellow officer or Donald to just give me, to help me telling the person the right information that they want. But we are not lawyers, and we are not going to give you a legal opinion. You have to get an attorney to get that legal opinion. I'll also just add one more thing. I got a call, again, the other day. President told me that I could put a patio in a couple of weeks ago, and now she's telling me she never said that, and I can't do it. If you're going to do something, get it in writing, and make sure that the person who tells you that you write it out, sign for it, and then you have something to, but orally, it's just, I don't think it's going to hold any water. Anyway, I just want to wish you what Patricia did. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays to all of you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry, I have a comment.
Yes.
Regarding the Breeze Line issue, a number of months ago, Breeze Line announced they were canceling the on-demand service. It's back.
They never said they were canceling. It's one of the boxes that are not hooked up to TiVo, to the internet, that service was going to be discontinued because the boxes are no longer available to them. So they're fixing whatever's there.
I understand that, but in my personal case, on-demand was gone for a month and a half, and now it's back.
Okay.
And I have a TiVo box.
Okay, well then you're in the other part of the world. That's the good part.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Sussex.
Yes, Mary.
I'm next to
Hi,
the
Mary
turnpike.
Walsh,
It's not the good part.
Hastings, G. President, I have a question for Jerry. You said that the board members have to be certified. Whose responsibility is that? The president? I send these notifications out to my board, but I think them being adults, responsible people, should be responsible for getting that thing done themselves. I did mine. Why can't they do theirs? They said, oh, I did it 4 or 5 years ago. Well, you know, it says you have to do it every year, so just do it. So who's responsible? I don't think the president should be.
Hi, Mary. Obviously, this isn't a condo administration question, a CAM question, so that's why I'm answering. First thing is, each individual is responsible for themselves. They need to be told the requirement, and they need to make sure that it gets done. As far as the president being responsible for enforcing or making sure that happens, no. The board is responsible to make sure that everybody's certified, but as far as dragging them to the meeting, no, that's not a president or even the board's responsibility. The uncertified person is automatically deemed to be off the board after, what, 90 days, Fausto?
90 days.
90 days. So it's more or less an automatic thing. Your property manager is Shauna, correct? Or is it Fester? All right. As soon as you have someone who has not produced proof within 90 days of being seated on the board, you get with Fester. Fester writes a notice and says, you know, per the board and per statute, you're no longer on the board. That's it. They're off. It's that simple. Then you go ahead and do an amended filing with DBPR, and you move on. All right? This shouldn't be an onerous responsibility for you, Mary. This is, you know, if you want to be on the board, you have to do the things that are required. All right?
Right. This was a new law that was passed as of last July. So that, and in that law, it says anybody who becomes a board member has to take this 4-hour mandatory course. You have 90 days to take it after the new board convenes. If it's not done, then you just heard what Donald told you. I'm not going to repeat it, but that's basically what the law is right now.
I'm sorry, somebody's making a comment over there?
The question was, if they've been certified in the past with the 3-hour course, does that count? And the answer is no.
No.
There's a new requirement. Even if you took the 3-hour course a month ago, you still have to take the 4-hour course, unfortunately.
Stuart, you're up.
I just want to make a note that great minds think alike. I had written down here that I was going to mention December 7th, and Jerry beat me to it. As a teacher for over 50 years, I used to remind the principal of the school to make sure that they announced over the loudspeaker system that what December 7th was and its impact on the world that we lived in, and especially the United States. I also would like everybody to just keep in the back of the mind, your mind, of all those who are no longer with us this past year, our friends and neighbors. And if you all remember the movie where the little girl walks along the yellow brick road with her 3 friends looking for the Wizard of Oz to solve all the problems that they have. Well, we here at Century Village in Yuko, we don't have a Wizard of Oz. We just have normal people who are trying to do the best job we can to make sure that we have a good life here and resolve the problems that come up daily and over a period of time, and then negotiate contracts for the citizens of Century Village in order to provide the best for the least cost. We have an election coming up. I know it's repetitive, but we have an election coming up, and we really do need people to step up to the plate to contribute their past life and talents to help us keep Century Village at the high level of quality of life that we have here. So please consider running for office, or at least donating some of your time to help us there with all of the issues that we have to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. 2 things. On the second Friday of the month, we invite the presidents. You get a phone call from either myself or Carolyn to come to the UCO office from 9:30 to 11:30. We try to limit it to 12, 13 people. It's one-on-one. We have an outline, and we discuss, give you as much information as we can, and we spend 30 minutes answering your questions. For those of you that are not officers, regardless of where your position is or you can't make it, on the third Friday of the month, from now until December of 2025, the third Friday of the month, room C, from 9:30 to 11:30. Come in, listen to what we're giving you. We'll give you as much information as we can. The rest is up to you. The other important thing is certificates of occupancy. We have had some issues where people come in with blank forms. The blank forms will no longer be accepted. They have to be typed up. So that means if you have a renter, a lease must be presented to one of the officers. One of the officers comes to UCO to investigation or the ID office here and gets a certificate of occupancy typed up. If you're an occupant, and you're not on a lease, there's a special form that the unit owner has to fill in requesting the board's permission to have that person live in the apartment. You can come and pick that up at the front desk. Now, one of the issues that we have is that because we're in season, husband and wife can no longer be the two people that sign that certificate of occupancy. You must have two individual signatures. This isn't my rules. This is WPRF. They're the ones that own the ID. Now, there was some question some months ago when we went back to doing things where it had to be typed up, and people said, oh, this is something new. February of 1997, we found procedures for WPRF. You used to have to go to their office and get every single one of those certificates typed by them only. You couldn't even come to UCO. So this is not something new. This is a procedure that's been in place since 1997. If you do not have a husband and wife, they will reject it. Do not give a person, one of the things that's happening, one of the officers doesn't feel good, doesn't want to come to the office. They give the renter, they say, go to the office and have this typed up or give you a form. We're going to send them back to you. That's one of the jobs as officers of the building that you have to do. And originally, when we went back to this in April and May, you had to come to the UCO office. It's now also being done by WPRF. So you have 10 hours a day to get it done between both officers. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know, and I'll come into the office and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay. Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? Ooh, cool. Oh, wow. Thank you for our Christmas gift. All right.
Tell them about the toy drive.
Well, today, the Italian Club, and now this year, the Baby Boomers Club, we've been donating clubs to the PBSO. They have a toy drive. We've been doing it for about 9 years, 10 years. Today, PBSO is coming to the UCO office to pick up toys. So if anybody has brand new toys, they have until 1:30 this afternoon to drop them off, and we'll be happy to give it to needy children in the community. All right, no new business, no old business. Niels, you're up.
Hi, Niels.
That's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a question?
No, not a question, a comment. Old business?
Yeah?
Okay. I wanted to thank Irv Rifkin for making a comment on the op-ed page for saying that not all of us are 100% behind Yuko's take on how to handle the La Quinta question. I also want to thank whomever, was it you, Ruth, who said okay to putting that on the op-ed page, because maybe the Reporter is going to be a real newspaper. And then finally, I'd like to thank Greg and Nels for offering a humane solution to a problem that has surrounded our little citadel for years. I've been here 10, it's always been a problem. The people who are homeless around us, this would be a very ordered, supervised solution. It seems like a good one to me. Thank you.
I have no idea. Go ahead. Shit.
Where are you taking where are you picking up the toys?
Just drop them off at the Yuko office.
Afternoon today, right?
Yep.
Okay.
PBSO will be there at 1:30, so between 12 and 1:30, if you have a toy, bring it in.
Okay, I've got a bunch.
Thank you.
Jerry, the board certification course. Is it available? It's available online, isn't it?
Yep.
Where was it published where we could get the link?
Go ahead.
Mr. Brenner, if you go to the Becker Law website and follow the links, you'll get to it. And if you send me an email, yukomaintenance@gmail.com, I'll just send you the link.
I'll do that, Donald. Thank
No
you.
In
problem.
February, there'll be one at the HOA Condo Expo that you could sign up for, downtown.
So these are courses to attend in person or online?
No, in person. The online courses may not be available for long. They want you to sit in a classroom for 4 hours, and 1 hour every year thereafter.
Last week, Attorney Friedman told me that he's working on setting a date to have it here in the clubhouse, which he does once a year. But I don't have the dates yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, could you please clarify what's required for occupants extensions? Does a board member need to pick up the form from Yuko? What is required?
I just explained it to you. If it's a lease.
It's not a lease. We're talking
If
about
it's an occupant, then there's a form that has to be picked up by an officer at the front desk where it requires the unit owner to request the board to approve an individual to live in that apartment with them.
So is that a form that the association could give out to the owner?
The owner
owners?
fills it out, returns it to you. You, the board, 2 officers have to sign it, have to put a corporate seal in there, and then you either come to Yuko or WPRF to get an occupancy extension.
Okay, so we need to get this form, associations, we could possess that form.
Sure.
We could pick it up and
Right.
just say.
If they're not on the lease and they're not a unit owner, then to
Right.
get an occupancy, that's what's required.
Okay, and they're available at WPRF as well?
No, they're only available at Yuko.
Okay.
I just want to add to what we just had. Somebody just came in and needed an occupancy extension form. The person sitting at the front desk, there are forms right behind her. One of those forms is an occupancy extension form. Give it to the owner. The owner fills out what they have to fill out. You have two board members sign it and bring it back. And a board member brings it back, and then it gets typed up and given to approval of the extension of the occupancy.
Why did you?
And the seal, but just make sure it has the seal on it as well.
So that letter needs to have the form?
That letter, the beginning part of the letter will say, me being the owner of whatever apartment,
Right.
will request extension of occupancy of Jill Smith as from November, we'll say December 1st, 2024 to December 1st, 2025. You'll need the signature of 2 board members and the corporate seal of that
That's pretty
association.
much the form that, the COA form.
Hi, Joyce. Rather than go over this now, why don't you stop by UCO, come to investigations, ask for me if you like. I'd be happy to go over the procedure for you.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, could you give me an update on the fencing issue along the northern perimeter? Again, we're right at the intersection of Haverhill and Community Drive, and since Seacrest has done the clearing and it looks great, we're noticing there are huge areas where the fence is down, there are holes in the fencing.
Donald can answer that for you.
Morning, ma'am. Can we please first know your name and association?
Pam Peter Paul, Norwich O.
Hello, Mrs. Peter Paul. How are you? Yes, now that we've done the land clearing on the South Canal, you'll notice that there are big sections of fence that have been wrecked out. They were wrecked out some years ago by FP&L when they did land clearing work. We will be making spot repairs on that fence, and immediately in places where we know people are coming through, particularly opposite the Norwich section.
Yes.
Because that's where people can actually get to. As far as the big work, it would be silly for us to bring in a contractor now, since we're planning to bring in big dredging machines over the next year. So we're going to get the next step is to get the dredging done, and then once that's done, then we're going to work on that fence. Incidentally, that fence was put in 1983, and it was the first project that UCO ever took on for the community when UCO was established in 1982. And for the most part, that fence was never touched by human hands. But yeah, so now we get to see it again. It's like an archaeological dig.
We've seen quite a few itinerants coming through and
Yes,
heading over there. And
and,
I'm urging my residents to call security each time. they
Don't call
see
security, call police immediately.
Okay.
Then call security, call me,
Okay.
but always call, we are keeping a very close eye on that area. Also, relative to what you just said, and I think Niels, do you want to talk about Niels has something to tell you about that as well.
Okay, good. Thank
all
you.
right?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Niels, now you're up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Snuck up on me.
It seems that we're in good of the order. The 29th of December, the African American Culture Club is having its Kwanzaa celebration. This is a potluck. We invite anybody who's interested in Kwanzaa to come join our celebration, but bring a dish to pass.
Okay. Now, let's try one more time, Niels.
For good.
Good morning, everybody. Greg couldn't be here. He's in Tampa at a conference, but he thinks it's important that we are listening to what you guys have to say and that we're here to answer questions, so I'm here. Few things. Earlier this week, we buried 3 PBSO deputies who tragically lost their life. They were motorcycle deputies who were hit by a driver, probably a distracted driver. So I just want to acknowledge that and take a brief moment of silence. And I do think there's a lesson in there that, traffic here kills more people than most anything. So be careful out there. So a few updates. Very kind words from the lady over there relative to the La Quinta, but I do want to correct the record. This is not something that Greg or I came up with. It's Palm Beach County staff who's looking at ways that we can help people. And the idea for the La Quinta is to turn it into permanent supportive housing for seniors who are, facing a rent increase or on a fixed income and are about to lose their homes. Staff is still looking into it because, as you can imagine, if we make it permanent supportive housing for seniors, it's important that the units have a bathtub that you can walk into and not step over, that there are enough elevators. So staff is still doing the due diligence, and eventually they're going to bring a report back to the Board of County Commissioners and they have to vote on it. So what they're going to bring back is a plan how to operate it and what it would cost, as well as a sales agreement, how much we'd have to pay to get the La Quinta. So that is still one, and as I mentioned last month, before anything comes to the board, Greg made sure and told staff, you first got to go to Century Village. So if and when staff has a plan, you're going to hear it first, and then it's going to go to the Board of County Commissioners who will make a vote on it. So there's nothing new to report on that. The other thing that happened, and I think some of you may know, I've gotten some phone calls from you, is just north of here on Haverhill Road, there is a street court called Horseshoe Circle South, and the two southernmost lots were purchased by a company, and they asked for a land use change, and they want to build on those 4 acres. They're wanting to build a 100-bed rehab facility. Now that is a lot of beds. That is a big, in a way, a hospital. And so this came to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission is a board of volunteers. Everyone gets the point, so 14 people. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended denial. The final say is the Board of County Commissioners, so it's going to come to Greg. But what we're seeing is not something that we like a lot. We heard a lot from the people who live on Horseshoe Circle South. They don't like it. And actually what happened is now there's something wrong with the application. So right now staff has remanded it back to what they call DRO. So at this point, you've heard rumors about there, being a rehab, them wanting to put a rehab there. Those rumors are true, but at this point nothing is happening because there's something wrong with the application. And again, nothing is set in stone. They first now it's off the track. Once it's back on track, it has to come to the Board of County Commissioners. I don't see it fly in its current form. So those are the two things that I had. And I'm here to answer questions if anyone has one.
Niels, I have a question.
Yes, Patricia.
Good morning. For the La Quinta, where is the money coming from to purchase that hotel and to upgrade it?
So if it were, if the board decides to go ahead and purchase it, that money would come from our budget. And the county has a $6 billion budget. This is, money that the county can spend on that if the board chooses to do so.
Niels, does the state legislature realize that they're making it more difficult for us to get board members?
That's a state question. I can sure reach out to your state representative on your behalf, but that's not something that the county has anything to do with.
Right, but somebody should talk to the legislature and let them know that we have a very difficult time to get anybody to volunteer to be on a board.
Right.
And next year it's going to be more difficult to get people. And we're going to get people resigning from the board, and we're also going to get people that have to be taken off the board because they're not going to meet the requirements.
I think that's a great point, and I would sure reach out to your newly elected State House rep. Her name is Meg Weinberger. So that could be something that she could run with once she makes it up to Tallahassee.
And Niels, I also have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Where the Chickafill place is, there's a big shopping center there, and I noticed fencing with green tarp around it. Are they planning to do anything in that area?
I'd need to circle back with you on that, but so let me look into that. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
When you come to the microphone, please state your name and what building you're from. Thank you.
Irene Bernard, Sheffield H. If I understood you correctly, you said that the La Quinta intention is for seniors.
Correct, seniors, yeah.
So earlier, a couple months ago, I was hearing that it was for, homeless or... So that's not the case?
Right, well, we held a town hall meeting here, and that was several months ago, and then we told you that it's permanent supportive housing for seniors. It's unfortunate that people, in the news, I guess, initially there was a report that it was going to be a homeless shelter. The reporter who did that news story later corrected that, and he said that it's not going to be a homeless shelter, it's going to be permanent supportive housing. He subsequently did a story that actually shows that in its current form, not the county, but nonprofits who help homeless are using the hotel a lot to place homeless people in. And that's currently, that's not what the county is proposing, but that's the current use of the La Quinta Hotel. And my understanding is that most people, once they stabilize, that if they're seniors, they move into Century Village with vouchers. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, but we've always said, because Greg told staff, he said, like, the only way this is going to fly is if it's going to be permanent supportive housing for seniors. I don't want a homeless shelter there. That's what Greg told staff. So staff is pursuing permanent supportive housing for seniors. That's the plan.
Okay, but as of right now,
As of right now, it's a privately owned hotel, and nonprofit organizations that help homeless people use it and rent rooms in there to help people who live in their car or live on the street.
I see. So if the county buys it, then that will not happen?
Right. If the county buys it, the hotel would be redone, and it would be individual apartments for seniors who are forced out of their current homes because of rent increases and assessments.
Okay, seniors only.
Seniors only.
Any other question for Niels? Thank you. Derek from Brian Mast office, you're up.
Sorry to walk, well, I'm not sorry. I'm walking like an old man because I had a hip replacement on November 18th. And if anyone's thinking about having anything replaced, let me tell you, with today's technology, as I just said, I had my hip replacement on the 18th. I'm walking. Don't sit around in pain. Have that replacement done. I sat in pain for 4 years. I'm so thrilled to be out of pain. But enough about me. Thank you very much for sharing the article with reference to the blue boxes. I know that many times you guys ask me questions, I give you an answer, and you think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Why would I lie to you? I had been asked a couple of times with reference to blue boxes and why there were no blue boxes in Century Village. There are no blue boxes because people have found that stealing from other people is profitable. So the United States Postal Service determined that they were going to pull the blue boxes out. That's the first thing. The second thing, I know that we still have issues with scammers. Please be careful with reference to scammers, people calling you on the phone and sending you emails and things of that sort. And the last thing, and I'm not sure if my colleague from the clerk's office is going to, and I am not here to steal her thunder, but I had wanted to take a moment of silence for Andrew Witt, who passed away unexpectedly. While he was in the Carolinas, he was with the clerk's office. He was far quieter than I am, but he was always here and always supported our community. And the last thing is Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Derek. Colleen, you're up from Joseph Abruzzo's office. Clerk.
Good morning, and thank you, Derek, for those kind words about Andrew. He will be missed, and he enjoyed coming to you guys every month and sharing about our office. So with that said, I think I'll be kind of transitioning into that role. So again, my name is Colleen. I'm with Clerk Abruzzo's office, and I'm here to just kind of be a representation, kind of talk about our services. So I know a lot of people have been talking about fraud a lot. Our office has a free service for property fraud. So if you are an owner of your unit, it is important that you sign up. It is free. It is with our office. It is through our record services. So anybody tries to file something fraudulently, tries to take your home from you, it'll notify you immediately and can save you a bunch of headaches from legal craziness and money and time and headache, and it's just unnecessary. So come to me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. I have some flyers in the back when you guys walked in. So again, thank you very much. Happy holidays, Happy New Year's, and we'll see you guys in January. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy from Ann Gannon's office.
You sign up online at mypalmbeachclerk.com. But again, if you want to talk more about it, I have flyers in the back as well that I'm happy to help with. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you guys.
Good morning. I'm Amy Ebersbach from, excuse me, from Constitutional Tax Collector Ann Gannon's office. Just a couple reminders. We are in December now, so if you have not paid your property tax, you pay this month, you get a 3% discount. You can pay online, in the mail, or if you want to drop a check into one of our secure drop boxes in our service centers. Also, just a quick reminder that the enrollment period for our installment payment plan is now open. So that would be if you want to pay your property taxes in 4 installments. It would not apply to this year's taxes, but it will apply to 2025. That is available at www.pbctax.gov. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. We have anything for the good of the order? Okay, well, hold on.
Joyce, wait. Somebody's coming up.
Wait, Al. Al, you're too slow.
No. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alan Plotnick. I'm a sergeant on the COP force here. Number one, our force is growing. We have several new members in training right now, so that car will be out on the road a little bit more. The other thing is, Friday evening, everybody here, and tell everybody, be very careful driving on these roads. They have the Orthodox people in the Jewish faith, and they're walking on the road. And I've told my people to try and get them onto the walking paths. So that's something we're trying to do. And we do a little bit, but I don't know how much more we can do. We're gonna, in fact, I'm gonna mention it at the security meeting today. So, happy holidays to everyone.
Okay. So before we accept Joyce's, I would like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Irene Bernard, Sheffield H. I just wanted to remind everybody that each board of directors, each building should have a CERT representative. That's Community Emergency Response Team. And the meetings are only once a month, and you learn a lot, and somebody needs to be at each building to check on the residents.
Thank you. Before we close, I was going to bring up about the 3 police officers that were killed, but the other day there were 2 police officers. One survived, the other one died on, I believe it was Port St. Lucie, right? So drive carefully, and some of us that are a little bit older, they can't see, please don't drive at night. Okay?
Yeah. Fausto, I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
There is a new traffic pattern leaving Haverhill Road, leaving the village going on Haverhill Road, which I think is for the better. Before, you used to have people from the synagogue and people from the village going and turning at the same time. They've changed the lights now so that people who are making a left turn out of the village, they have the right of way. That light is red for people who are leaving the synagogue. Once that is over, the people from the synagogue get the green light to go through. So from now on, The left turn will have their own light. The synagogue people, after all the people have made that left turn, the light will change red, and the green light will go for the synagogue people who are going back into the village. A lot better and a lot safer.
Thank you, Jerry. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Now, Joyce, you're up. Thank you. There's a second. All right, everybody.